everyone, and welcome to May 2020 Behind the Scenes. I hope you're all keeping well in isolation. A few of us are starting to get out. I'll be a little while before I get out. I've been having some ongoing breathing problems from the fires. I talked about that before. Don't need to talk about that anymore. So I hope you're all doing well, reading lots, and staying healthy. What have I been doing? Okay. During isolation, I've actually been busier than I have been in a while. I've been to a few online events which have made up for the cancelled events. So there's been mainly Zoom and Skype. I've been attending a lot of steampunk tea parties, which has been real fun, in New Zealand and local, and also Arizona. So hello to Tucson. Hello, Tucson. I've also done the virtual book club with the Tucson Steampunk group, and they read Department of Curiosities as their May book, and I got some really great feedback and some constructive feedback too. So I've got a few things I need to work on or think about, mainly to do with things that were wrapped up or weren't wrapped up in the last book. So most people were happy with that. And I just need to make sure that I definitely wrap up some certain things in the second book, otherwise I think I'll be in big trouble. But that was great actually, and I actually had some more sales of my ebook online. Had a bit of an interesting thing with Amazon, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. Another event. I did Book Lovers Tuesday. A Facebook event run by the Terra Australis group down in Tasmania, which I really wanted to go to, which is cool. And I've won some, well, I gave away some of my books there and actually had a chat. Isolation has been like a, well, they say double-edged sword for me. I've had events cancelled, had more events, done some extra sales because people buying books. It's great, but it's also emotionally it's a bit of a toll, particularly for an empath, which is great for writing because I get to feel other people's feelings, but not in the real world. It's making it harder to write. I've had ups and downs. At the moment I'm on an up. I'm actually getting a fair bit of writing done, and I'll talk about that again in a minute. But there's been a lot of writers in the same boat where we're finding it very difficult to write because of what's going on, which is really counterintuitive because you think, yay, we've got lots of time to write, but there's lots of other things going on. I think there's a lot of writers like me who are empaths and we're feeling the weight of the world, so it makes it hard. Just in the last month it's been cool. I got Blood Ties finished, it's been put in and they like it. It is a bit long, so it will depend on how much room's in the anthology, I think, whether I get into that one, but otherwise I've got plans for that, which I've talked about. I've actually got up to chapter 5 in A Fey Tale. Well, I think chapter 5, it could end up being chapter 7 because it's actually more word count. I've got 29,000 words, which is about halfway through the book. So I've already separated, see, chapter 3 is now 3 and 4, and some of chapter 4 went into chapter 5. Chapter 5 might be 5 and 6, but we'll see. Anyway, I've got the first draft done. I'm into rewrites. I've decided I'm going to finish the rewrite, well, a fair chunk of rewrite in that section because that's the bits I'd actually written lots and lots and lots and lots of notes for, and it's been a real struggle trying to work out which notes to use. It's actually harder to come back ages later after you've written lots of notes and try to work out what order they go in, so that's been fun. I'll do a little video on the writing process, and if you're very careful and maybe use that pause button, you'll see possibly some spoilers. So I'll just show you that little video now. So I'd given myself to the beginning of June to get that done. A little bit behind because I've been doing some editing work for other people, and that has taken about a week or two of my time. So, but I plan to do that to the 1st of June. Then at the end of June is due the Mrs. Hudson short story for another anthology, and that is a paid little tiny bit of payment job, so it's a paid job, but I would like to write another Mrs. Hudson story, and I've got most of that worked out. I've got the smells and the bells, and I can smell the pipe and stuff like that in my head. But I just got to nut out the mystery part, which, I mean, it's a absolute Sherlock Holmes. It's a Sherlock Holmes. It's mystery, so I've got to work that out. And that is due on the 30th of June, so I'm hoping to get that done in a couple of weeks, and then I can get straight back to Aunt Enid and A Fey Tale, and just go from chapter 6, boom, on. I know what's happening in chapter 6, and Kelly, if you're watching, Kelly won the auction, the AuthorsForFiries auction earlier in the year, and one of the prizes was having a character named, and she appears in this chapter I'm just about to write, and it's really cool. I think it is. I've had a chat to Kelly, and she is going to, well, her character is going to work for the shoemaker. Now the shoemaker is actually an elf. I mean, it's a fantasy. Well, it's a cozy fantasy, and she helps. She's an expert forger, and they make passports for the fairies and the creatures of the other magical realms to come through as refugees to our earth, which it's part of the story. Anyway, that I'm just about to write that, so I'm actually looking forward to writing the shoemaker. It's going to be fun. That's the next bit I'm going to be writing. A big problem, as I mentioned, has been getting words out, and a lot of writers have been having that problem. So some people like to call that writer's block. Yeah, writer's block, yeah, fine, whatever you want to call it. And I've got some ways of getting around that. So I've been feeding the creative fires, or feeding the ideas factory, if you like to call it that. So I've been watching, well, because A Fey Tale is set in 1920 Adelaide, I've been watching a lot of things. Like I've been watching the early Poirot's, and I've been watching Miss Fisher, and I got my copy of Miss Fisher, Crypt of Tears, yay! Actually, we managed to go and see that at the opening in Adelaide just before the isolation, and I got some photos with Nathan Page. He was actually really lovely. He lives locally in the Adelaide Hills, and he turns up as a lot of voiceovers on television, which is really cool. I've also been watching Frankie Drake, and what else have I been watching? Mrs. Bradley Mysteries with Diana Rigg. I loved her as Mrs. Peel, so that's what I've been doing. I've been doing a bit of reading again. Currently reading this one. I've actually been and I've actually won some books as well, so I've got some Australian author books which I'm getting through, new authors, and so that's been fun. But it's also adding little bits of information. I've gone, you know, you get ideas from all over the place. This year, one of the things I've been determined to do is to shake up my webpage a bit. So I'm looking at updating my webpage, and I'll be using some of the Patreon funds that you support me with, which is that thank you again. And I might end up paying someone to help me with the webpage, because the ones that are the standard ones through WordPress just aren't yanking my chain. So I'll be working on that, and I'm actually in the process of redistributing, working out another way to distribute my ebooks so I don't have to deal with Amazon. I've had some issues there, and hopefully that'll be sorted out the next month or so. So you may find that a couple of the ebooks, especially the 2 short stories, are down off Amazon while I'm trying to sort out distribution back through them, back to them I should say, but they're still available on Smashwords and a whole heap of other stuff, and you'll find some little changes happening through on my website, and then hopefully I'll get that done but that is available because of your support, which is great. And I want to get some pretty things happening on the website and make it a bit easier to navigate, would be the one. So thank you all for that. Another thing I've realised this month is I really need to keep my character Bibles. You'll probably hear authors talk about their book Bibles. I've got a notebook, and actually I write in there who has what colour eyes and what colour hair and what their favourite thing is and stuff like that. And when you're writing, you get a bit slack in filling that out, and I noticed I'm going in, I'm writing these characters, and I'm going, oh gosh, I can't remember whether they've got blue eyes or green eyes or brown eyes. Did I actually mention their eyes? I don't think I ever mentioned Agnes's colour of her eyes, which is interesting. So I've done I had to go through and go back into the old book and do searches for eye colour and stuff like that, so it can be consistent. I really need someone to do like a wiki page like they do with Gail Carriger. The other authors also forget these things, so I don't feel so bad when I hear that. So if I really need like the Uber fan who I can just contact and say, what colour eyes was Agnes's eyes in the first book? Did I mention that or not? So I've got to make sure I keep updating my character Bible. So that's a few things that I've been doing this month. The events I've been doing, a few things I've got planned. At this stage, all going well with the short story and getting back to it, I should have pretty well on the track for finishing A Fey Tale. That was originally going to be out in September for the Steampunk Festival here in Adelaide, which looks like it's still going ahead. That'll probably be my first real event out of the house since all this has happened, and hopefully we won't get a second wave, because then I won't be able to go. Also that month is the library talk on Conan Doyle, so that should be fun as well. So that's what I've been doing and what I'm really doing. So thank you for supporting me, I really appreciate it. It's been nice during isolation knowing that you are here supporting me. So thank you very much for listening in to this month's Behind the Scenes, and I'll see you next month in June for the June Behind the Scenes. Bye. I say a lot.